Hello everyone. I am so ready for Raidou. For Raidou Remastered, The Mystery of the Soulless Army. No, I haven't by some magic obtained an advanced copy of the game. No. This box very kindly was sent to me by SEGA. Thank you very much. It's a promotional item to prepare you for the forthcoming remastered edition of one of the many wonderful games in the overall Shin Megami Tensei universe. As you're probably aware, there are not only the main numbered entries in the Shin Megami Tensei series, but also a lot of spin-offs, and they have also been successful. Some of them are nowadays difficult to access. I had trouble finding this one, Raidou versus the Soulless Army. And in my PS2 collecting days, I tried very hard, and this was the only copy I could obtain at a reasonable price, as you see from the sticker and X-Rental. Something I usually avoid, but in this case I really wanted this game, and in the end the disc is fine, it's the game that matters. I have already been posting a few photos on Twitter recently featuring scenes from this PS2 game. I booted it up and started replaying it in preparation for the big day. June the 19th is release date for the remastered version. Because of all the various spin-offs and complications around localization, there's quite a bit of interesting background history I just want to go through. You know, I like my history. So this game came out in 2006. Unlike most other Shin Megami Tensei games, it is actually an action RPG. Now, I'll say straight away that was probably my least favourite part of that PS2 game, purely because of the sort of laggy nature on the PS2 of doing action fighting. There were also a high number of random encounters as you navigated the city in pursuit of being a detective, but really investigating supernatural events. So that could get a bit much too, all those random encounters. I normally don't mind them, and I don't mind a bit of grinding. I find that is part of the JRPG structure of things, but it's got to be appealing enough that you want to do it, and if it's too much then it gets repetitive and a bit tedious. Fortunately, Atlas have already given us details that it's not going to be just purely a graphical remaster, but like so many of the classic games we have had recently as remakes or remasters, they usually include some carefully judged readjustment of certain mechanics, like a random encounter rate, and of course also the fine-tuning of the action combat side of things. So that's really the main reason why I'm hugely looking forward to this. That, and on top the graphics improvements, should make for a really fascinating gameplay. And of course the story, as always, is very interesting. One reason why the whole setup of this game is so intriguing is that it's set in a fictional period. They sort of extended the Taisho era in Japan, which went up until 1926, and after that Showa started. They extended it and set the story in 1931, but still in Taisho. So that's a fictional sleight of hand that gives them the liberty to do all sorts of weird stuff, yeah. And not only is the action combat different from other SMT games, but we also have a named protagonist. So there are plenty of differences to make this really appealing for fans of the SMT franchise, but I'm hoping also people who might like to dip their toes into something like this, who enjoy action combat rather than turn-based, and want to try their hand at a bit of devil summoning. Now, this is a pretty amazing box. It's actually pretty heavy, and it's beautifully constructed. So now I just have to figure out how to get inside. So there's a flap here, fortunately. And that's the open sesame of the box. So on top is a postcard, a picture, featuring the protagonist himself, Raidou Kuzunoha, and the black cat, Goto Doji. Go, Raidou, it says. Don the hat and cape of apprentice detective Raidou Kuzunoha the 14th, and investigate the mysteries in Taisho-era Japan. Yes, I'm ready. Your tools for battle are contained within. Okay? Unleash the supernatural in this epic remaster coming June the 19th. This cap really does look like the one that Raidou is wearing. The detail is very good. And I love the lining on the inside with that flower motif. My goodness, Raidou must have a very large head. I take a reasonable size in hats and head covers, but this is enormous. I think my brain needs to grow a bit more. If I put a little bit of a padding rim around the inside, then it will fit me better, I think. It is surprisingly heavy. They used decent materials. So the next item is the cape, but before that we have a bit more history. This game was in fact the third Devil Summoner game, but the first one to come west with an officially localised version. After that, 2 years later, we got a sequel, the fourth entry, Raidou Kuzunoha versus King Abaddon. Now, are you wondering what I am wondering? If this remaster is reasonably successful, if enough people are interested in playing it, might we get a remaster of the follow-up of King Abaddon? I'm just floating that idea. Hello, Atlas. But where did it all start? It started a long time ago, 1995, on the SEGA Saturn. The first entry was called Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner, and in that title you already see that it was considered part of the SMT universe. However, sadly, it never received an official Western version or localization. It was later confirmed that the PSP version, also Japan only, was not localized due to the loss of the source code. However, the second game in the series did come west. Shin Megami Tensei Devil Summoner. Soul Hackers. This is the most recent version on the 3DS. I've gone on about this before in my other Shin Megami Tensei video. This is one of my big all-time favourites, this game. It is punishingly difficult, but it's just extraordinary. I think it's wonderful. So that was the second one. The third one was this Raidou Kuzunoha, and the fourth one, we might still, with a bit of luck, we might still get an updated remastered version. So that's a bit of the background. There was a fifth game, yes, Soul Hackers 2, came out 3 years ago. It's a game I do like, and I still hope to be able to cover it in a future video. I love Shin Megami Tensei, as you know, and I like all the spin-offs. Devil Summoner, yes. There's another one called Devil Survivor, so don't get the two confused, they are separate and different. On to the cape. This is no lightweight cape. This cape is almost more like a coat. The material is a mixture of wool and other fibres, which would account for the reasonable weight. Now look at this, it's got a proper lining on the inside. Food for dogs, reporting for service. And the final item, a box, keyrings. One has got the Atlas logo on it. This is pretty heavy. One with the Raidou logo for the game. They're quite thick metal, well made. You'd notice if that dropped out of your pocket because of the weight. And the black cat Goto. Very nicely done. He's sort of in mid-jump, showing his teeth. Obviously, this cat has some supernatural abilities as well. So I've draped the cape here over the sofa so you can see the whole coat with the purple lining. Colour reproduction is always very difficult, of course, especially between print and real fabric. Whether they've got the colour absolutely right, I'm not quite certain, but we'll also have to see how it appears in the new remastered edition. In the original game, it's a bit more towards mauve, I would say, and looks a bit more faded. But anyway, that's a pretty good cape, you know. So after the key rings, I thought, well, that's it in the box. And when I lifted this up, to my surprise, to my utter surprise, there are 8 tubes. What are they? They are demon summoning tubes. I think also referred to as kuda in Japanese, but most people just call them Kuzunoha tubes. We don't have these anymore in later games because, like Soul Hackers, set in a different, more modern period, they use a comp device, you know, sort of computer-like wristwatch thing. But these are tubes for storing demons ready for summoning. Oh, yes. Patented Kuzunoha device. And we have all 8 of them here that Raidou can equip. This is a nice attention to detail, I think. So summoning tubes, keyrings, the cap, and the coat, and a beautiful box. I've had a few promotional items over the years. I have to say I'm really pleased that of my all-time favourite franchises, SMT, this turns out to be another cracker, really. And that was it for today. I am truly ready for Raidou. As always, thank you very much for watching. Please keep well. I'm Food for Dogs. Bye-bye.